Good evening, folks. Hope you're well. Thanks for the lovely response to my going veggie um, videos. It's quite refreshing, and I didn't want to open that particular can of worms quite so quickly. But it's obviously an emotional subject, what we eat, isn't it? And I'll just make some adjustments here. Um, for those of you wondering why I look a bit grey, it's because I haven't shaved. I'm on a couple of days off. Thank goodness. Sometimes you just have to stop and take a break. I do have admin to do, so hey ho. It's funny, people do get very emotional about food. I have to confess that I'm not a foodie. I'm not. I'm one of these who finds eating a real pain in the ass. And I've said before, if I could, I get no major pleasure from eating. Quite frankly, I find it a major inconvenience that I have to cut my day up in order to put these little, not snippets of death, but snippets of food consumption into my life. And well, I'm fortunate enough to be able to take a break. Many people have to eat on the fly, which is testament to how stupid our society is and doesn't do a lot for our digestion, I suppose. We all get indigestion, we all eat junk food on the fly. And you see people buying all sorts of shit on the move. But equally, I'm rather bemused when I see people. I'm being nice here, but my older brother, he's a foodie. He's not fat. He's normal, whatever that means. But he is a fantastic chef. He's single, girls. But yeah, he's a lovely guy. He would be a perfect, it sounds awful, but he would make some man a perfect wife because he is so self-sufficient in every way. And I keep trying to find the right woman to put him with, and he's just quite happy on his own, thanks very much. And he's not gay, I assure you, but equally he's just quite content with his life, and he's a fantastic chef. And he can just look at a pile of food on the table, or mixed ingredients, and just produce the most amazing things. Hats off to him. He's always been that way inclined since he was a youngster. I remember he was always wanting to help my mother, who was a terrific cook herself. As for me, I lost interest because I used to find having to eat such a pain in the ass. It disrupted my day a couple of times a day, quite frankly, on summer holidays and things like that. But no, if I could take a pill and that would be the end of the matter, I'd just get on, because I just haven't got time for it all. I get no major enjoyment, as I say, for eating. It's a bind. It's one of those things, isn't it? But you only have to go around the shops and go places like John Lewis's or some of the other bigger well, not bigger, but other stores, and look around the high streets to see the sort of clutter that people buy. Pressure cookers. Yes, do you remember them? They're coming back big time. And food implements and utensils and big business, you see, because we're a nation obsessed, aren't we, with food, and cooking. And, well, I'd like to know why our millennials aren't very good at it, because they're the ones, it's the older people, with due respect, the older people who are still into cooking. But there are, if you're a TV watcher, you can see lots of cooking programs, and disproportionate number of cooking programs on our TV, MasterChef, etc., etc. God, I can't, not again. I don't even turn television on. And it's rather amazing because, okay, I get it, that people are getting a little bit more savvy. They are, for the most part, getting conscious of what goes in their mouths. But they don't seem to pay much attention, quite frankly. And this is the most, I don't want to upset you, but people should pay more attention to what lands in the toilet and have a look at that, because you can tell a lot from stool specimens. You know, when you go to the toilet to drop the kids off at the pool, as they say, polite way of having a dump, drop the kids off at the pool. You know, you can do stool interpretation. Is it long? Is it fat? Does it have blood on it? Is it freckles? What colour is it? And the strange question I get asked sometimes is, why is our poo always brown? That's fair enough. Children usually ask this. I'm not suggesting for a moment you're a child, but I'm sure you have childlike curiosity. And if you don't, how very dare you not have? We've all got to be curious, and a lot of people wonder this. Why is our poo always brown? Well, it's shades of brown, isn't it? Well, not that I'm a poo expert, but I'll take a stab at it, if you excuse the pun. Our red blood cells, our erythrocytes, the things that carry oxygen around our body, they have a lifespan. And there's millions and millions and millions of them in our body, unless you happen to be ill. And they only have a lifespan of 120 days. That's it, that's their lot. We think we're hard done by. Try being a red blood cell. So 120 days from birth to death for a red blood cell. Well, they've got to go somewhere. And when they don't have oxygen, they go deep dark brown. They go off colour. They lose their rosy little cheeks. And they die. And, well, in that quantity, dying on a daily basis, every 128 days, there's always going to be dead ends in your poo. Because where else would they go? The body won't reabsorb them. Obviously, they've been raped of their nutrients before they get passed on, and it is the residue of that, or them, that ends up staining our poo brown, quite frankly, or shades of brown. Yes, that's very true. Didn't you ever? What's wrong with you? Didn't you ever wonder why your poo was always brown? But there again, you see. A poo can tell you many secrets. I hate the topic. I'm sorry I got onto it. I wish I could get off it. It's like getting off the toilet. But no, people are. Strangely, they don't want to ask about why, and why is their poo look like rabbit poo for some people, long big ones for other people, or small, you know. There are various types, but as a rule, it's either too hard, too long, too knobbly, looks, you know, and it hurts, and then you get, it's too big for your bum to pass, and you split your ring piece and it bleeds. You wipe it. Oh my God, I've got anal bleeding. It's not usually. It's because it's not rectal cancer. It's because you split your ring piece, because it's like having a baby with a head's too big sometimes for a bum. You know, it'll crack. Excuse the pun. And sorry. I can laugh with you, not with anyone else who's got the problem. But yeah, so my arse is so sore every time I have a poo. And okay, you get away with passing a big one, and that took some effort. Made me eyes water, I bet. And then they dread having another one, because they know that they're going to reopen old wounds. It's taken a day to heal, maybe, just start to repair itself, the sphincter. And suddenly here comes another, it's going to crack it wide open again. More tears, more blood. But eventually, you know, it'll settle down. You just got to be patient. And, you know, it can make people anally retentive, which isn't good. The moment you get the urge, folks, you've got to go. You go. Because otherwise you're just going to do yourself a lot of damage. Because you'll cause compacting of your intestines, the departure lounge, if you like, and then it's not going to come out easily. Sometimes it feels like a bus is coming out the tunnel sideways, if you get my meaning. Anyway, shall we change topic? Oh dear, yes, well, blame the red blood cells, but equally, if your poo is pale, seriously, go and consider having a blood test to see if you are anemic. Okay, because that's an indication. But it's studying the pooology, if you like, is quite complex. And there used to be a doctor on TV that would get 4 people out the audience, go and tell them a poo in a box, and she would analyse them live on stage. I can't think of anything more embarrassing. I'm not sure if her name was Miriam Stoppard, Dr. Miriam Stoppard. One of that day. I remember thinking how obscene it is to open a box of somebody's, yes, fecal sample and go, oh yes, I can see you're dehydrated, love, you want to drink more. Or you want to stay off the burgers. Good job it wasn't smell-o-vision. Can you imagine? There we are. On to pastures new, I think. Oh, dear me. I just say funny things. Sometimes I just laugh out in public and my wife is so embarrassed. What's the matter now? For God's sake, don't start. Please don't start. We're in company. I can't control it because I think funny things. Yes, I have to entertain myself sometimes. Perhaps in more ways than one which I like to admit. But yes, the most funny things. I've got so much in my head I could tell you about, but it would break so many confidences about what people do with themselves. You wouldn't believe it. Oh, yes. Never mind, it's confidential, told in confidence. Sadly, I could write a book. But no. So the topic for tonight, let's quickly change the subject, is not going to be turds or turd burgling or anything like that. It's going to be that I have noticed that there's practically anything you want to know about anything is on the internet, isn't it? But we have to be so careful because, well, there's charlatans out there and they talk such shit. And it's a difficulty, of course, for general folk like us to separate the wheat from the chaff. And to top it all, the hardest work we have cut out for us is to decide, which politicians are lying. Well, here's a top tip for people who watch political videos. If the politician's mouth's moving, they're lying. Okay, that's quite a good go. You wouldn't go too far wrong if I was going to give you some parental advice on this. If their mouths are moving, you may as well turn the volume down because they're lying. No point trying to lip read. They're still lying. They're born liars. Yes. I think it was somebody famous, I can't remember who it was, said that a good start to the improvement of this world is an ocean full of water lined at the bottom with lawyers, bankers, solicitors and politicians. Well, that's pretty much sums it up for me too. That's what I think. They should become endangered species, but there's so many of the parasites. I mean, I feel like a tick-ridden dog with these people around me. When in America, you see on cars now stickers that say, "Hit me, I need the money," such is the litigious nature of most Americans. You can't lay your hands on me. Well, I'm not laying my hands on you. Bang. I'm going to shoot you. But I think we should be entitled to having our own guns. I can see no reason why people of Great Britain cannot have self-defense of their own home and their own loved ones within the home. Who would object to such a thing? The criminals, usually. And there's been cases, you wouldn't believe this, but it's true, of where a farmer actually shot 2 guys who broke into his house. And it was the farmer got locked up. And to boot, got prosecuted for serious GBH, gross grievous bodily harm, on the guy that was trying to break in and potentially kill him and his wife to steal their goodies. And it was the innocent person who ended up in prison. And the arsehole that broke in got massive amounts of money for being shot. Well, I have to confess I would have shot him as well. And bugger the consequences, because You know, you can't take the risk. And do I sleep with self-protection in my house? Absolutely do. I don't have a 12 bore, okay, but I have a really nice machete. Oh yeah, I do. And I'd use it. You know, there's no point trying to attack such bastards with a slipper. And I can't expect my wife to do it all the time, protecting us. I have to rely on myself sometimes. But you know, if I was a real man, apparently, I would be sleeping next to the door in the bedroom. You know, I'd be the first to get got. But hey, well, you know, being the coward that I am, I actually like lying by the window, so I can just look out the window. But you know, that's my reasoning. But we're actually pretty secure at night, but never say never, you know. But we bolt up like a pair of bloody beavers, really, at night. And we're very, very safety conscious. Well, you have to be, don't you? Isn't it quite a sad testament to society, though, that we're all worried about our welfare? Well, we have to be, because there's so many crooks and bastards out there who are looking to take your stuff or hurt you or rape or pillage or whatever they want to do. And I think that why should the Americans get all the fun of blasting the shit out of somebody if they break into their house? Because I would do it in a heartbeat. There'd be no debate. In fact, I'd consider it sport. You know, I'd get him on the way out, shoot his ass straight away, no problem at all. And I would sleep like a baby knowing that fact. But we're not allowed guns because we're not to be trusted, apparently. They're too sharp for us, you know. So hats off to America for the right to bear arms. And Britain should have had the right to bear arms. I see no reason why we can't bear arms. I mean, for Christ's sake, I've got a very nice air rifle that's barely legal. It's a .22, barely legal. It's been tweaked a little bit to shoot rats. Well, now I don't shoot rats. I don't choose to do it. Strangely enough, the rats have buggered off now. I've lost interest in shooting rats. The rats have failed to turn up on many nights, and I think, well, that's it. They've got the message, you know. And I felt so bad shooting rats as well. I don't like killing anything, quite frankly. I'll let a wasp out the window. In fact, if I can, and I have been known to rescue ladybirds and let them fly. I'll actually take the trouble to go downstairs if I catch one in my bedroom and go down the stairs into the garden, and I'll throw it in the air and it'll open his little wings, you know, and fly off. I think, there you go, my old son. It makes me feel better than buying a round of drinks, quite frankly. It's cheaper. But I feel good about it. I feel good about stepping over insects. I won't crush your insects, knowingly crush insects quite deliberately. But why can't we look after ourselves? We're entitled to defend ourselves. You know, the people breaking into our house know the dangers. You could put a sign on the door. Trespassers will be shot. There you are, fair warning. Uninvited guests, trespassers, are in danger of being shot. It doesn't have to be a fatal shot, does it? You could just kneecap the bastards. Yeah? Blow their hand off. I mean, a 12 bore can do quite a bit of damage. You know? But the ultimate self-defense weapon has to be a crossbow. Yes, silent but deadly. They won't hear it coming. And let's get some seriously nice crossbows. But again, you see, I'd be the one going to prison for attempted or succeeded murder. Well, murder's premeditated. I didn't premeditate it, Your Honour. I didn't know he was going to break into my house and try to steal my things or kill me or kill my wife and steal our goodies. He wasn't not invited to our house. He just put himself in danger, the silly boy. You know, why can't we? I don't think it's anything to do with being civilised. It's not civilised to break into somebody's house and steal their goods, or rape and hurt their children, or terrorise their wives or husbands even, or beat the husbands up and maybe kill the occupants of the house. Don't we have a right to defend ourselves? I think we should. But our British bobbies, well, come on. It's too late by the time you've called the police, isn't it? You know, bee-bar, 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 up comes Mr. Plod after you phone them. The bloody robbers are either halfway on top of your wife, just about to smash her face in and run out the front door with the goods, because these little shites don't care about British police, because they know the British police are useless. That's if the sat-nav's working and they can find out where your house is. I think we should be responsible for our own care, so the police can go out and solve the crimes, which they are totally inept at doing most of the time. I have no high regard for the police, quite frankly. They bundled my brother's murder investigation. They hid what they wanted to hide for their own agenda, and they're hiding their own incompetence. So I dislike the police immensely. And the other ones I can't stand at the moment are the pseudo-police. Yes, the special constables, weekend soldiers we used to call them. They're normally, you know, standard professional people during the day, but at night they dress up in this silly uniform and pretend to be policemen and policewomen. Yes, special constables. That's right. And you think, oh, we call them plastic coppers, don't we? You know, part-time. Is the police force that desperate they have to do that? Evidently so. But the unsolved crime rate in our country, in the United Kingdom, is growing and growing and growing as crime increases exponentially. Because they know they can get away with it. These little shysters driving down the motorways, down the high streets at super high speed in their daddy paid for super rich cars, super fast cars. Well, you stop them, police want their licence. Yes, they'll take their licence and they'll say, right, report, bring your licence if you, get the address off the licence, and then you report to the station, and they don't turn up to the station, we'll come and get him. And he doesn't turn up to the station as if that's his name. They go around to as if's house and, oh, he's gone to Pakistan for 5 weeks to see his great-great-brother's, aunties, sisters, uncles, nephews, brother. Not sure when he'll be back, officer. But then a couple of days later, you see as if belting around in his car again. You see, he's back in town. And there's nothing we can do about such people. But don't you do it. Oh, no. It's only those people with a melanin skin problem, if you get my meaning, that get away with such nonsense. Yes, we don't upset the imams. Not at all. Because the imam loves his little children. A little bit too much sometimes, I probably think. So really, we live in a skewed world, don't we? Obsessed, self-obsessed. And we can barely look after each other. We can barely look after ourselves, quite frankly. We need help, we need assistance all the time. And I've said before, I don't consider myself a Dumbo, but I don't find living easy. It ain't easy. And I'm reasonably intelligent, and I can grasp big words and documents and understand what I have to complete and fill in. But how do the other people who are quite not so intelligent get through life? Oh, it's easier. They don't fill the documents in. But they know how to claim everything, don't they? They can go and find their local expert, and they'll tell them exactly how to fill it in. They'll do it for them, you see. Yes, there's one on every shop, street, corner. Well, who own all the shops in the great country of ours called Great Britain? You name it. And it ain't the white honkies. It's not. We're too busy doing office work. We have to work for others. You'll notice that about our melanin skin ethnic brethren that very rare are they employed. They will generally work for themselves, which is a clever thing to do, because it's the only way you're going to be paid what you're worth, not what the job is worth. And if I could wind the clock back, I would have never accepted a job just over broke. I would have always started off my working life as self-employed, because I'd have the best manager available. I'd have the most motivated manager available, knowing that if I didn't go to work, I wouldn't be paid. So I'd better make it work, and I'd better get out of bed, and I'd better go and do my job, because, and that's also, as self-employed, every holiday costs me twice as much as everybody else's, because I don't get holiday pay. A holiday for 2 weeks in Torremolinos, slapping sun cream on my puffy white flesh, cost me twice as much as everybody else, because I have to pay me. I don't get holiday pay. I don't get sick pay, so I can't be poorly. There's lots of people who want to be self-employed but don't understand. It's not that easy, because you have to suddenly grow up and stop being a scrounger and a lackadaisical prat. That extra hour in bed could be an extra hour treating patients, for example. You see, if there's not enough time in the day, folks, if you find you're struggling, well, there's never enough time in the day, is there really? I just ran out of time. Well, get up an hour early. It's all very simple. ABC your life, prioritise it. ABC. Assume nothing, believe nothing, and confirm everything. That's the way to go. ABC. And you won't go far wrong. I learned that too late in life. But I'm passing it on. Hopefully it's not too late for you. ABC. Assume nothing, believe nothing, and confirm everything despite believing it. Don't believe it till you've confirmed it. And you won't go far wrong, my son, my girl. So, we've travelled quite a bit in the last 27 minutes, haven't we? We talked about poo. We talked about food. Foodies. Yes. They're easily spotted, foodies. Carry lots of carrier bags around. And they're big frequenters of markets as well, to get those fresh fruits at special discount prices. Yes, they know a bargain when they see one. They're very selective when they pick up. Foodies go into supermarkets or markets, and they become expert vegetable looker-uppers. Oh yes, it's a King Edward. Yes. They're pressing it, tapping it, shaking it. I don't know what they think they're going to hear. Hello? What? Then they look at the carrots, you see. And then they pick up. I just expect them to start juggling. Some of them do, if you give them an audience. But, you know, they suddenly, because they become vegetarian, or they're going to cook a main meal for some friends, got some friends popping in, as though it's a common occurrence. I'd be out there celebrating. Take them down the pub, let them have a pub lunch. Probably enjoy it more. But why wreck your house having to cook and use your electric to fund and feed others, for Christ's sake? They're all parasites. You know, they will talk about you when you're in the kitchen and say what a shit state your house is in, your cutlery needs polishing. You know, I don't like it. I'm really, really private person. I won't have people, I don't like it, having parties of people in my house. And, you know, been there, done it, got the t-shirt, had the arguments across the table. Oh, yeah, I've done videos about it, folks. You know, we always get the ones. You can't put a group of strangers together and expect to have harmony. Not in my house. It's bad enough when we all know each other and they're little peccadillos of each other. No, but suddenly, because he's become a veggie, that's it. I'm not talking about me, I'm just talking about generally, or they become a food expert, you know, and they go to a fish counter. Now, I go fishing, I go fly fishing, I like fly fishing, okay. I've been down the carp route, I've got all the boilies, I've done the carp rods, I've been to carp lakes, I've travelled the country going to carp lakes and doing nights with my son in a tent, freezing myself to death, probably to placate him. Most of the time I'd rather be in bed. But no, you do these things as a parent, you see, and That's my excuse. But I did get some fun when we used to get a bite at the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning. That bait alarm's going off. Yo, go and get it. Yeah, but it's your rod. You have it anyway. I don't mind you having it, son. How magnanimous. Yes. You sure, Dad? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you go for it, son. Good luck. I think, oh, I'll get back under the quilt, or the sleeping bag. Oh yeah, I've been there. But no, I do the clever thing now. Go out in the daytime when it's nice and springy time and go fly fishing. I don't have to worry about things like bait either because I tie my own flies. Yes, I know a nymph. I know quite a few, but I also know dry flies. And there's nothing quite like it. Catching a fish on your own fly that you've tied. I can't explain the beauty of seeing that little fly insect in the distance with a trout. It's not about size, but it is with trout. You always want the big one. And it's sniffing around your fly, and you think, go on, son, go for it. And you're ready. And they just sail past it. They're little teasers, they are. And I it's very rare that I'll take one home to eat. Can only eat so many trout. We got a freezer full of them. Well, not quite full. But it becomes a bit of a team. You don't want to do it all the time. But I buy a ticket where you can't kill them now. Just a catch and release ticket, because it's the thrill of the chase for me. It's not the thrill of the eat. I know people. I mean, with due respect, Polish people go carp fishing. You have to check their pockets and the boot of their car when they leave, because they're buggers for taking prize specimen carp home and eating them. It's not the British thing to do, Polish people, to go and eat mirror carp, crucian carp. It isn't. We don't want to eat them. But Polish people will. They quite like carp. And anyway, you should watch out for Polish people in your carp fishing lakes. You'll find your stock going down pretty quick. And they get it for nothing. I have to pay for my trout. But I catch and release. In fact, I don't have a barb on my hook either. So you've got to keep the line tight. Otherwise, slightest relaxation, the hook flicks out and they're off. But at least I fooled them into thinking they went for my fly, that I made that little fly. And it fooled a trout. That's the pleasure. Until you've done it, you can't knock it. That's what my grandma used to say. But I refuse to be homosexual. Anyway, enough of that then, folks. But all I would say is, top tip. Find something in life that you're passionate about. And don't do it just because it pleases other people for you to do it. And you're trying to impress. Don't. It's got to impress and please you. As Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. Never mind what other people say or think, because do you know what? It doesn't matter a rip what other people say or think about you. It won't make the blindest bit of difference to your life. It really won't. Because we sit there and think it's a dreadful world, this is going on and that's going on. We can get so depressed about it all, but hey ho, it's still a beautiful world. There's still beauty out there. You learn to look through the mist of deception and lies and deceit. It's still a beautiful world. And I watched today 2 birds hopping around the grass in my garden, collecting nesting material. I thought, wow, that's lovely. I was really pleased to see that, because it marks a point in time in my life. I enjoy watching the birds courting. The male's got his flashy little outfit on, his new feathers to impress the girls. It's rather strange in the bird world. It's the men who put the makeup on. The women are so drab. It's the men who look the part. Putting the little flashy little feathers. And of course, it's an unfortunate term, but a male bird is called a cock. Yes. So somebody's trying to tell us something. Yes, but I love watching animals prepare for having babies. And this is why I've decided not to eat them anymore. Yes, I wonder how long my vegetarianism will last, but it'll continue as long as I stop thinking about eating meat. And I work on aversion therapy, of course. And I talk myself out of the yearning. It is. Being a meataholic, not so much a meataholic, but a meat consumer, is a tough thing to get out of it. And I just have to imagine now that it's absolutely abhorrent to eat animals. And it is. It truly is. And it's unnatural. Plus, it's not fair, is it? And I'm all for fairness. And I can sit here and talk all night about it, but one thing is that you can convince them against their will and they're of the same opinion still. And that's the general public. If you have to convince people against their will, they will be of the same opinion still. They'll be standing up on the inside even if you tell them to sit down. And telling such people things, it's a bit like I learned very quickly to stop trying to teach pigs to sing. Why? Well, it doesn't work, and it annoys the pigs. Okay, that's why. It doesn't work and it annoys the pigs. They don't want to whistle, and they don't want to sing. Well, to each their own. I don't want you sitting there standing up. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, in closing, when you've done the paperwork, I mean, they do say in the toilet arena, the job's not finished until the paperwork is done, if you get my meaning. But it's funny, isn't it? We do the bit with the paper. Men reach round the back and some women reach round the front. I don't know, however you wipe. It's funny though, we always look down that toilet. What are we expecting to see? You know, I've never seen a pretty one yet down the toilet. It's never spoken to me. But sometimes I've flushed and it's gone away and it's come back and I think, what does it want? Conversation? That's the question, you see. Does it know something you don't? I'll be back. I just see, I just think, what does it want? But the worst feeling of all is going into motorway service stations, into a cubicle when you're absolutely mad desperate. And I don't have a fixation on toilets, I assure you. You jump into a cubicle, you get your trousers down, you turn around and there it is. Somebody else's. And the flush is evidently broken. And you think, I can't. Life just ain't fair sometimes. Is it? I guarantee that you will sit down, but you won't put your body on that seat. You will hover. Oh yes. That's ammunition for another video, I think. We've had enough. So whether you're going to go now and drop the kids off at the pool, okay, as they say, have a think about that. I'm sure that you'll have a right old smile on your face. But don't keep checking the colour. You'll be getting your colour charts out soon and compare. Go to the paint shop and get a whole plethora of shades of, not grey. Not shades of grey. This time it'll be shades of browny red. Yes, and then you'll frighten yourself stupid. Oh my God, I'm anemic. Well, doctor, I was examining my the kids in the pool, if you know what I mean. And it was that colour. Look, I've got my shades, shade meter, poo meter. And the doctor will just commit you immediately to the local psychiatric hospital, I'm sure. I would. But I would still have a titter about it when you've closed the door and gone. Catch you tomorrow, folks. And have a think about that. Yes, keep on cooking, as long as it's not meat.